Old SMMA is dead, and you're stupid and you'll stay broke if you keep stuck in the old model instead of pivoting to the new model of new SMMA, which I'll get to in a minute. This video will showcase exactly why old SMMA is dead. The old way of doing things is dead and destined to lead you to failure. Why exactly that is, and how exactly to change your approach to win in the new reality, essentially. So let's dive in. Old SMMA, this is how you would go about doing things. You would do cold outreach or paid ads because you're essentially a nobody, you're a brokey, and nobody's going to know that you exist. And so you need to do cold outreach or ads to get people to essentially get leads, to get people to give attention to your offer, which we'll get to in a minute. This all comes under the category of cold outreach. Now, you do cold outreach, what you're essentially doing is you're incredibly low status because the prospect does not see you as having a higher status delta than them or having a positive status delta, so it's a negative status delta, and you're low status in their eyes in the sense that you are reaching out to them and they are not reaching out to you. So you're already on the back pedal, you're already climbing uphill, fighting an uphill battle. Furthermore, you're seen as low authority for the same reason that you are reaching out to them, pitching your service, making it seem like you need them more than they need you. And they will only buy wholeheartedly when they are convinced that they need you and not the other way around. And also, you are seen as nothing more than a commodity if you are peddling old SMMA offers. And the reason for that is there's 1,000 other people doing the exact same thing as you with the exact same pitch, the exact same offer, landing in the exact same DMs every single day, using the same scripts that you got from that same mass marketed course. So it's asinine, it's stupidity to think that you will get any form of outcome alpha by doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And of course, you are met with very, very high sales resistance because people are deaf, like they are just blind and immune, that they're just tired of being pitched the same services, the same offers every single day. Business owners are tired of it. And so here's how you change we'll get to that in a minute, but let's dive deeper into the problem. When you do cold outreach, you're also begging to get them on a sales call, essentially. And then once you do somehow succeed by the grace of God, you get them on a sales call. I don't know how you manage to do that, but you do. And then you get tons of objections because they have not been pre-sold. They just met you. They haven't even met you, in fact. You just reach into their inbox one day and pitching them on a sales call, begging to get on a sales call, and they are somehow half convinced to get on a sales call with you because they're not completely bought on the offer. And then you're met with tons of objections that you have to handle on a 30-minute sales call. Too much headspace scarcity. And then they do not trust you afterwards because you have not yet exhibited proof. And chances are, if you're just starting out, you don't have case studies. So the trust factor is already on a back pedal. They don't trust you as much as you want them to trust you to buy from you. And they are not pre-sold because, again, they are cold outreach prospects. And you engage in essentially a price fighting battle where you're having to lower and lower prices just to get them convinced enough to buy from you, just to try you out, just to give you a chance again, begging, begging, begging. And also, when you're on the sales call, let me make this a bit thinner, this is too insane. You are pitching that same dumb old offer. It's like, oh, I'll do Facebook ads for you, I'll do cold email outreach for you, I'll do appointment setting for you. Bruh. What you have to understand is this is your prospect's current state. This is their dream state. It does not matter whether it's paid ads, cold outreach, appointment setting, or bally hoo ha ha fairy dust. It does not matter. What matters is that you get them from their current state to their dream state. You cannot do that by just offering Facebook ads, cold emails, or appointment setting. The gap isn't solved by just one thing. Facebook ads is just one piece of the entire host of multiple problems to be solved in order to get them to see an increased revenue, because that's what they want. The businesses that you're reaching out to with your old SMMA offers that you have to beg to get them on a sales call with you, essentially the fundamental of the transformations you're trying to pitch them is that you will make them more money, that they will get more revenue if they work with you than if they do not. Otherwise, there is no reason for them to work with you, because that's what almost every single business owner who has a right mindset wants: more revenue, ideally for lesser and lesser effort. Now, this entire full gap is not going to be bridged by just Facebook ads alone. If this were 2018 or 2019, when the market was not as flooded and saturated as it is now, market sophistication was low, you could have gotten away with that. But now market sophistication is high, and people are immune to these offers. No longer will they bite if you just solve one piece of the entire host of multiple problems that need to be solved in order to get their revenue up. Just Facebook ads alone will not solve their sales bottleneck. It will not solve the fact that they have poor quality leads. It will not solve the fact that their offer at the very start is absolutely bullcrap. So you have to bridge this entire gap, which I'll get to in a minute, which is the new way of stacking growth offers to become decommoditized. Anyway, back to the dumb old offer that you are pitching. You are essentially highly replaceable. You are a commodity. You are literally a commodity. And so you cannot help but charge low prices when you pitch them your offer. And the reason for that is because you are a commodity, which means that this is you, and this is literally every single other person, and you are all the bloody same. And so the only vector of differentiation that you have is price fighting, price gouging. So you are stuck with lowering prices to get attention because you're a commoditized offer provider, and which means you're highly replaceable. And also, the monthly retainer that you charge is going to be very low, and the pricing structure is high risk for both of you. It's high risk for you because you're incompetent and you will not be able to service them, give them the proper fulfillment that they deserve, that they deserve if they pay for you. And that's just the harsh truth, because you're just starting out and you're incompetent. Because if you were not, then that would have meant that you have had previous experience, and then you would not be running into all of these problems as viciously, but you would still be running into them. Nevertheless, you are incompetent, so that's a higher risk on your end, because you will not be able to fulfill the stupid guarantees that you have to give in order to get that scarce attention, because you are doing something highly commoditized. And also it's high risk for them, because even if you give them their money back, these stupid money back guarantees, you have to realize that they will not be able to give them their time back, which is arguably more valuable for proper business owners than the low ticket commoditized monthly retainer that you'll charge them anyway. And so you keep begging them again and again, and you finally get them to close somehow. Luckily, fortune smiles upon you, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to be very happy. But the reality is that you're going to be very sad, because you have just gotten yourself into a very, very sticky situation. Why? Because you charge low retainers, which means you have poor cash flow, which means you have low margins, so you need more and more clients to keep the hamster wheel spinning so that you can make enough money that you want to make, because that's why you got into business, because that was the dream that was sold to you. And then, because you have low margins, it means you have poor service delivery, because you can only afford low quality talent, which leads again to bad customer experience, bad reviews, leading to bad word of mouth, which is more pernicious than zero word of mouth, by the way. So you're stuck being a commodity for perpetuity. You're stuck in fulfillment hell because you cannot fulfill to a high enough quality, and you have low margins, high stress, and basically you stick. And you can't get more money because negative word of mouth. So you're struggling again and again, and every single time you repeat the cycle, you have to beg more and more and more and more desperately. And as time goes on, the more commoditized you get. Enter new SMMA. Here, instead of doing cold outreach heavy first, you take a content heavy approach, because you actually pay attention to what's happening in the market, and you know that when you leverage content, you're able to build trust at scale and pre-sell your prospects so that you don't have to engage in tons of objection handling. So you position yourself content heavy first. Does not mean you don't do cold outreach or paid ads. We'll get to that in a minute. But the power combo is combining outbound prospecting and paid ads with content. It builds authority, it builds trust, and essentially you are able to take advantage of both vectors of compounding and leverage, because content compounds. Any long form, like the video that you're watching right now, it's literally off the top of my head, and it's establishing authority and trust, showing you that I know what I'm talking about because I've been through the fire, and I've been through what you're probably going through right now. When I scaled from 0 to 32,000 per month in 7 weeks, after failing for 2 straight years, by the way. So you will have compounding and leverage, and you'll be able to take advantage of both, because once this video gets out into the ether of the internet, it's going to stay there forever until I do something stupid and take it down, unfortunately. Hopefully not. So you'll have that. It's essentially a salesperson that works for you 24/7 around the clock with infinite patience without dying out. And you also have leverage in the sense that you get more and more returns for every single unit of input that you put in, because when you combine the content heavy approach, then with paid ads, and then with cold emails or DMs, they are both strengthened, these massive biceps, by content. Because the first thing that people do when they see your cold email or your DM or your paid ads is they actually look you up online, look at your YouTube channel, look at your website, your landing page, and all of that. So they will do the sniff test, and you'll pass the sniff test with flying colors if you actually have quality content that's already positioned out there, ready to pre-sell them around the clock, establishing authority, trust, expertise in their mental real estate. Then you pack your content essentially with process selling VSLs, video sales letters. Process selling because they sell the process that you will use to provide them the transformation, and essentially you'll bridge the full gap. We'll get to that in just a second. These process selling VSLs then educate your prospects first instead of selling them, which you are forced to do when you get just a sliver of their attention in the old SMMA model using your cold outreach or your paid ads. But now, because you have content, you have that compounding leverage, you're able to actually take a back step and actually educate your prospects first, because people hate being sold to, but they love being educated. So when you are able to educate prospects with your content and your process selling VSLs, these content assets then work around the clock, nurturing your prospects for you and actually handling the objections for you, so that when they actually hop on a call with you, they're just ready to pay. They're already pre-sold, they're already warmed up and nurtured. That leads essentially to a very smooth transition to your sales calls, where when you actually pitch them your offer, you have a strong status delta. You are not a commodity. Why? Because, again, and this comes into offer restructuring, and I'll make a separate video on this completely, you are no longer providing commoditized services. You are essentially bridging the entire gap from their current state to their dream state, instead of just offering one single sliver of the entire gap, like Facebook ads, like appointment setting, like cold emails. You are bridging the entire gap by stacking growth offers into an infrastructure that's a turnkey solution that you can build once for your client, embed into their business, and it works around the clock with minimal maintenance, providing them with results ever and ever. You are able to charge high upfront fees for this, and then you can downsell the upsell on a recurring basis month to month, a low recurring backend, leading to stable cash flow machine. I'll make a separate video on this entire process in the future. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel if you want more bangers like this one. So on the sales call, your prospect is already pre-sold from the hours and hours and hours and hours of content that they've already watched, just like the video that you're watching right now, because you can see that it's coming off the top of my head. It's already a very, very, very high trust signal of competence. It's high trust. And if you do things right, and again, I'll tell you exactly how to do that in a minute, they will be ready to pay in full. Again, going back to the high upfront that you'll be able to charge. And because you get paid in full, high cash flow, leading to big upfront payments, allowing you to hire the best quality talent in the market which then allows you to leverage that high quality talent to get amazing results. This leads to zero to low churn, whereas in the old SMMA model, you're running after new clients every single month because your old clients are churning because they hate your guts, because you can't provide them with the results that you promised them because you suck. You get the best possible word of mouth, massive case studies, which then you can funnel back into your content to make your content better, and then you are able to objection handle better using your content because they are just stung with so much social proof that they cannot help but say yes. And then you're stuck in this positive cycle, which is the best type of cycle to be stuck in unless you're in a negative cycle. And then you are no longer viewed as a commodity. You're decommoditized. Happy you. And then you can scale to 32,000 a month and beyond, just like I did in the period of 7 weeks from zero after failing for 2 years. So if you want to get out of this hell of old SMMA and into this new SMMA, where you're providing turnkey solutions that are decommoditized, that allow you to charge high upfront payments and build a stable cash flowing machine, and allows you to remove yourself from the business instead of being stuck in the hell of fulfillment with low margins and low prices and stinking forever to everybody. This is what you need to do. You need to make this transformation. I'll make a separate video going over the exact details of how to restructure your offer. If you want one-on-one help from me to literally drag you through to success, past 20K per month in the next 90 days, or your money back. The link to one-on-one mentorship with me will be in the description. You can pay directly, and if you don't want to, you can hop on a call with me. The link for that will also be in the description. Thank you for your attention. Ciao, ciao.